So we continue in our appraisal of the events surrounding Ripple and XRP, its underlying crypto. The coin is particularly bucking under the weight of the lawsuit that seems to want to crush the hopes and dreams of investors in the crypto. The case, which the SEC filed in December 2020, came with a string of debates on whether the crypto had operated as a security in times past, which would be the main cause for the veracity of the charge made by the SEC. Its implications has seen trading XRP a major threat to mediating exchanges that support it, most especially in the US, which is the only country where the case agenda seems to be an issue. This is so because apparently other countries in the world, spreading across all continents, don't see the crypto as a security. And as we know, the vast majority of XRP users exist in those countries. The few exchanges that have either delisted or halted the trading of XRP on their platforms are reported to just be about 31. And they are majorly US-based exchanges. While the coin may be struggling in the US crypto market, it's standing strong in other countries where it's being traded. Back when the suit first popped up, it didn't come alone. Instead, the company Ripple was also slapped with a lawsuit by Tetragon, and this is the major focus of this video. Welcome back to Make Money Online. In addition to Tetragon, we'll also be looking at the admittance of XRP's open status by the SEC. We'll also focus on the latest XRP news, as well as updated XRP price predictions and chart analysis. To get a clearer picture of the SEC and Ripple's situation, we recommend that you check out our previous videos. Don't forget to like this video, and if this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button and bell icon to get notifications every time we post a new video. Like a predator waiting to pounce on prey, Tetragon Financial Group Limited opted to add to the misery of Ripple Labs when the SEC first filed the lawsuit. It became a war on two fronts for the company. Tetragon was a known subscriber to Ripple Labs, having been a major contributor to one of Ripple's public offerings. As a major shareholder contributing about $175 million, it filed a case against the company to ensure that it reclaimed its stock worth that amount. This was done in what may be deemed as a panic action, following the purported news that XRP was a security. To enforce its right as quickly as possible, Tetragon filed a preliminary injunction on January 7th. The latest news is that the case injunction was overruled, since it was based on a theory that remains to be proven. The reason given by the Council of Tetragon and its execs is that there was a securities default, which has been ruled out and deemed as false since there is no decision yet made whether XRP is a security or a currency. The company seemed to have wanted to capitalize on the enforcement action taken by the SEC. And since it's yet to prove anything, Tetragon can't prove adequately that there was any default. The presiding judge says the case was baseless, as XRP is no more a security after the SEC filed the enforcement action than it was before it. It remains undetermined that XRP is a security, and it is posed as a question in the enforcement action, which doesn't have an answer yet. The decision will have to be made by a viable district court. What further ruffled their feathers were the statements issued by the SEC not specifically addressing XRP as a security, particularly amidst the current lawsuit that XRP holders, specifically attorney Johnny Deaton, are seeking against the SEC. The SEC admitted that it has not yet made a decision on the status of XRP. The court case is expected to be the standard of evaluating whether the claims of the SEC are valid in the suit against Ripple. This contributed to the success recorded by Ripple against Tetragon. The coin has suffered losses pending the unclear situation, which has seen people and ultimately companies assume that the crypto has been determined as a security, a statement that the SEC has come out to deny. In view of this, CEO of Ripple Brad Garlinghouse, who has never ceased to push out comments over the lawsuit, further ripped at the SEC. He condemned the negative effects that are synonymous to enforcement acts like this. By bringing a massive enforcement case, the SEC acknowledges they didn't determine anything, but the crypto markets, under pressure, interpreted the filing as such, causing massive damage to retail holders. And now the SEC affirms that no determination has been made about XRP, and it didn't order or ask anyone to halt trading or delist the crypto. So retail holders shouldn't blame the SEC, but instead blame the exchanges. So who are they protecting? In light of this, the SEC has filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit it got slapped with by XRP holders, claiming that there is a provisional law that exempts the agency from getting sued, being a branch of the federal government, and thus they cannot be strong-armed into amending the claim that XRP is a security. The XRP holders claim that the lawsuit has caused grief to them and has caused them to endure $15 billion worth of losses. This was particularly argued to mean the SEC has been the one hurting the investors it's been sworn to protect. There's no shortage of stories of the Securities and Exchange Commission being at odds with various firms in the crypto industry. The Commission has had lawsuits with Telegram in addition to Ripple, and has spent years persecuting various fraudulent schemes in the industry. Now, Ripple is accusing the SEC of not being consistent in its treatment of firms in the crypto industry. According to Zcrypto, in Ripple's most recent court filing, they've called out the SEC for allegedly insisting on treating XRP as a security token and prosecuting Ripple for selling it, but does not do the same for other popular tokens like Bitcoin and Ether, which operate in the same way. Ripple has stated in response that the SEC does not have authority to regulate XRP because it is not a security, but a medium of exchange and thus does not need to be registered at all. The SEC's filing, based on an overreaching legal theory, amounts to picking virtual currency winners and losers, as the SEC has exempted Bitcoin and Ether from similar regulation, Ripple said in recent court documents. This ongoing battle between the SEC and Ripple is but a fraction of the bigger issue, which is the inability to properly categorize many cryptos. It also indicates the clear situation of the cluelessness on how to treat crypto. As the crypto industry evolves, it's hoped that some adjustments can be attained as to what cryptos are classified as. This is sorely needed to ensure that proper laws are put in place for the industry, and that lawsuits such as these can be avoided in the future. A win for Ripple is a win for XRP. With the latest detail of Ripple's success, we can't wait to see what effect it would have on the short-term potential of XRP, as well as its long-term value. We're already seeing predictions that put the price of XRP at $1 for the month of March. Analysts generally believe that things are looking up for XRP, with it still standing at this stage when it should be drowning. Investor trust is still raring to go higher, as more people have bought into the coin despite the lawsuit. Though it's gradually recovering generally, the price is still undergoing a correction around 40 cents, and we want to wait it out to see if it gets up on the upside. If the coin takes a stride upwards, it could first have momentary stops at previous highs of 47 cents, 50 cents, 55 cents, and 65 cents. Also, we could eventually see it rise above $2 and ultimately reach its all-time high and eventually go beyond it. Taking all these factors into consideration, XRP-USD in a situation where it has developed some underlying strong bullishness, which can also increase when XRP-USD manages to show up with the right price action. When this happens and XRP-USD finally closes above the upper boundary, this will also activate further targets ahead, from where the next alignments will be done. In the XRP price prediction provided by CoinSwitch, the price of XRP is expected to gradually increase, eventually reaching a $1.10 mark in the middle of the year. They believe that if Ripple continues to develop at a rapid pace and has independent trading platforms and investment routes like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the coin will be able to touch the $2 mark by the end of the year. From this chart, we can see that when the wave gets completed, we can open sell positions or take profit on long trades. It's believed that the end of this would be around 60 to 70 cents. Then, it's predicted to possibly fall all the way down to 50 cents. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you can get updates whenever we post a new video. Do you think this could be the best time to invest in XRP? Let us know what you think in the comments below. While you're here, please check out one of our other videos. See you next time.
That's how it goes. Hollywood Carson.